Howdy folks, it's Mr. E, and it is, lo and behold, a full moon in Aquarius, and rarely do I do two reads in a row like this. At first this was going to be an addendum, and now I think I'm not going to worry too much about time, and I'm going to deliver a message that came in very powerfully at the full moon time, and I'm very curious to see what the cards have to say about it. So I'm going to get right to it. 514 Tarot, I've got the clarifying deck, I've got the wisdom oracle, and I've also got the moon phase calendar, which is, we're in moon phase 5, which is all about slowing down for an illumination of truth. And our learning today is, our affirmation is, recognizing others are learning sets everyone free. Yesterday's affirmation was, recognizing myself as learning sets me free. And today, recognizing everyone learning sets everyone free. So everybody's learning, and when we know better, we do better. And so we're always in a call for forgiveness. And illumination of the truth in this full moon is exactly what we're all getting. I'm experiencing a divine, beautiful, fabulous energy of being able to let go in an accelerated way. And I'm going to share that with you on the other side of this read. So I'm going to speed this up. I'm going to put the cards out and we'll see what we got. Okay, so I'm back. I've got the read, and it's really interesting. So, full moon energy, here we are in Aquarius. Aquarius energy with Venus in retrograde, and it's bringing us our emotions to look at, but in a container that we can deal with. That's what the Aquarian does, and it's ferreting out lots of... we can't be betrayed by life if we're carrying thoughts, if we're carrying no thoughts. In other words, the only time we get betrayed or hurt in life is when we already have a perception of ourselves that needs to be illuminated by something in the outside world. It's the filters of our mind that attract what we experience, and it's our karma which creates the filters in the mind. So what we have to do to be in the new earth, to let go of the density of this reality, is to be in forgiveness and to recognize that there's something much larger happening than our egoic story that something is wrong in the world. So underneath everything is the Ace of Wands, representing a new start in our sexuality, our creativity, and the way that we use our creative fire. So the power that gave us the life, the orgasm, intercourse, our sexuality, we all came on the same wagon. And it's a beautiful thing unless we misuse it. And most of us misuse it. And so moving into the new earth and moving into our empowerment is to find a life purpose, which is to operate without the lust. And it's not just our sexual lust, it's our lust for fame, lust for attention, thirst for guilt, even sometimes, for violence. I had somebody the other day tell me they love violence, like that's their thing they're working through. We all have our thing. But when we come and we learn to use our wands correctly, and we see it upside down, that's the new perception card, or the hanged one in our deck. I'll read you the poem. When a man or a woman breaks from the pack for the spiritual journey, ridicule. To continue the journey, they must incinerate what is in this for me. They then encounter fierce opposition. To continue the journey, they must incinerate, what can I do to fix problems? What can I do to fix problems? They have to incinerate that. When a man or a woman meets themselves in the heart as the divine masculine or the divine feminine, they rest in curiosity. How may I serve? How may I serve? Healing is initiated. A path for self-realization occurs. So if we can recognize, if we can just be honest with ourselves, that most of us have misused our ideas about relationship and sex and whatnot, and that our larger culture is in a huge illusion of deception about, and when we honor our sacred fire on the inside. So that's what the new earth is going to give us, a new way. It's not just anything to let that go. And the wisdom card that comes up is chant to God. So I'm going to move this so you can see the cards that we're playing with maybe a little bit better. But this chant to God card coming with this new start in both recognizing the sacredness and the power that we have, that gives us a new responsibility to our sexuality. And I think that's what is bubbling up for everybody right now. What the whole reading is about our strength. The inner strength card comes up, and behind it, the align your energy, which is while you're waiting for things to happen, if you're doing nothing, you can turn off the television or put down your phone or whatever, and you can align your energy. You can literally, and you can see the words written are in a vertical stream, up and down, up and down. It's like we want to be, an unenlightened person would be looking out in the world they would see problems. They'd be trying to get things out of certain situations. That's conditional, that's horizontal energy. What we want to do is we want to move our energy and align it. And that's our inner strength. It's our inner light. It's coming into terms with our own ability to be more present with this sexual energy, because align your energy is 3 wands. So he's aligning his energy in the background there. Inner strength is saying, no, I understand that I get tripped up in this area, and every human being does. My inner strength comes in my ability to be discerning with who I share my sacred medicine with, whether that's my time, my energy, my business, my family, my friends, whoever I'm spending my sacred energy with, and especially my sexual energy with. I want to make sure that everyone's in a situation that leaves everyone better than they found them. And that's what this card says. Will you leave me better than found? In other words, when you meet somebody and they're a character of destiny in your life and you have some kind of connection with them, can you both be committed to leaving the situation better than you found it? And if you're not there, then I recommend you take a real hard look at why are you investing energy in a situation that doesn't feel right. And so we have an opportunity in this full moon to very clearly see what feels right. So then we get the Ace of New Earths. This is a new start of self-compassion. This would be investing in ourselves in a way that we never have before. So the drama card comes out behind it. That's the 4 of Swords, and it's saying lay your thoughts down, walk away from the drama. It's not about drama per se, but she's even got like I'm walking out of here pose in that. So this card is signifying if you really want to make the best investment in yourself, walk away from all drama. Build a bridge to the rest of your life. You build a bridge to the rest of your life when you let go of drama. And I think we're getting to a place of no tolerance. We get what we tolerate. We get what we tolerate. Well, if we don't tolerate drama and we just walk away from it, we don't try to fix it. Remember, we're not trying to fix problems anymore. We're literally looking for the choices that feel right and following those. The next card came out upside down. It's the 9 of Daggers, which is all about failure. This would that there is no such thing. But when we recognize the vast humanness of ourselves, the tears start to fly and we start to emote. And that's what happens in the 9. We start to break down the cage that we built in our minds by letting go. But in this upside down, it would suggest that somebody is stuck between an ego death and, not being able to see something clearly. So a lot of times that's what happens. Somebody in a situation decides to walk away from drama and take care of themselves, and the other person is left in a lurch, and they can't even believe that their heart presence was disturbed, or they let something so beautiful get away from themselves because they made a deal out of nothing and they were the creator of their own unhappiness. So the card that comes out is my good friend Pablo, and he's singing there, we don't know tomorrow. Let's love each other now. Let's love each other now. So I get a feeling this is a regret card. And if we have any regret, anybody that's watching, if you have any regret, pause for a second and just say, why do I regret this? And how can I do it differently? Because the next card that comes out is the Deal With It Now card. And it's the Prince of Coins, very slow moving. He's the communicator of compassion. He's the apprentice to the king and queen. So we're talking about action, but he's very slow. And you see 2 listeners underneath it. That's the 2 of Wands. So a lot of times, when we get involved in this situation, we can listen to it to prove somebody's story, or we can listen to the story and let the emotion bubble up without having to make a situation wrong, and we can get to what's underneath. So one listener is listening for healing, because the story is never real, and the other listener believes the story and makes up a judgment about it, and no healing happens. And so this is where we are right now, and that's what has happened in these upset relationships. And we're going over this review in Venus retrograde. It's like all of a sudden, if we're honest and we lay down, or we sit down and we open up our consciousness and we say, what frames in my memory are holding some kind of grief? In other words, these tarot cards are frames of images. Frames of images. There they are. See all those frames of images? And so we understand what the tarot is it's simply showing us that we're all characters in a dream and none of it's personal. And if we can learn the lessons of love, then we can step off the wheel of karma. And that's coming up in the read. I think because of the challenging aspects that we have right now to our astrology, which gives us the opportunity to step off the wheel of karma and make amends for ourselves in the way that we've conducted ourselves. So, Deal With It Now is a book that was my last book. If you'd like a copy of it, I'm happy to send you a PDF. It's also on Amazon. But it really gives us a way to script our response to every single thing that happens in our life for more favorable outcomes. And the lesson is that what we give is what we receive. Most of us are living in the opposite way, which we receive something and then we make a judgment about it. I don't like it. It'd be like sending your meal back to the chef all the time. It's like God keeps giving you these things that you ordered in a restaurant and you keep sending them back. You're arguing with reality. That's Deal With It Now. It's saying, no, we got to go the other way with it. Is when the images pop in your head, deal with it now. Don't let these things take you off base. You can literally say, here, God, see all these images in my mind? Take them all from me. Change them all to forgiveness. I want to let all these people off the hook. I don't want to carry these images around in my head about anybody or anything in my life that anybody ever did anything wrong. I am ready to be freed. I want to be free. And that's really what the Prince of Coins is saying. He's saying, if you slow down and you play your music and you play what you feel and you speak from the heart and you do good by people, then life is going to correct itself around you. But you've got to listen from that place where you're not getting lost in the fantasy or the compulsion to get something out of a situation, which causes you to listen very differently. No, a true listener is going to listen from the heart, speak from the heart. Everything's connected to the heart. And when that's true, you cannot hold the thoughts. And then when you say, hey, God, take my images and transform them all into love, take my thoughts away, you can literally open up a channel in your crown chakra. You can just tickle yourself right on the top of the head and you can just open this crown. It's just like a vacuum cleaner, always there. It's always there. It's like, I don't want these thoughts anymore. And so that's what this full moon is giving us an opportunity, is to be, I don't want these thoughts anymore. And I can't fix these thoughts because I'm inside these thoughts and it's a challenging situation. So just change all my pictures in my mind to love. And we can do that. But we can't do it until we recognize that we're the warden in our own play and we can only trap ourselves. When we recognize no one else can trap us and we can trap ourselves, we find our true happiness. And underneath it is the addiction mirror. So the addiction mirror says that when we're unhappy and we find fault with somebody in life or situation in life, that there's not one reflection, there's actually multiple reflections. And that's the way we get out of jail, is we recognize that the situations that we have aren't personal and they aren't really something that somebody brought to us. They're merely reflecting our growth, that our happiness is internal, eternal, and available to us at any call. As soon as we recognize we're the ones that put ourselves in jail and we're the ones that can let us out. And that's what this is right here. I'm saying she because it's a woman in the car, but this character in the tarot is almost worse than blindfolded. They're not seeing it right. And what's interesting is the same character is on the clarification card of what we started with, which gives life purpose. When I turn myself completely upside down and look at life correctly, then all of a sudden, and the only way to do that sometimes is to chant to God. And that's the next card that comes up, or almost the next card. Then we have the seven of new earth. Seven of new earth is, I'm going to jump off the wheel of karma now. I'm going to do something different than I've never, ever, ever, ever done before. I'm going to go after this opportunity that this Aquarian full moon has for me, and I'm going to actually make a leap, a giant leap in my consciousness. I'm not going to do anything for anybody else right now except invest in myself. And I'm going to break down the timelines that are holding me in this construct that I'm in. So I met myself as the warden. The happiness exists inside of me. I'm going to not do what I've always done before, which is complain, argue with reality, hire a therapist, all the rest of it. I'm going to get outside and I'm going to walk in a labyrinth. And I'm going to remember that my best life is one step in front of me if I can let go of my thoughts about it. If I can forgive everybody in my play, if I can change all the images into my mind and recognize that everybody's responsible, but no one's at fault. I take all the fault out of everything, then all of a sudden the timelines to my destiny shift. And that enters us into a place of we don't know, we don't know. We don't know means we say yes to life, but we don't know means we walk with an innocent mind. So this is discerning between the two listeners, choosing to become the listener that is listening for the feeling and the truth, not the story, and not making judgments and letting that mind go, recognizing we set ourselves free once we recognize we're the ones that imprisoned us, and no one can take our happiness away as long when we have an innocent mind and we operate differently than we operated before. We're not doing what the larger culture is saying to do. We're not taking pills. We're not going into too much television or internet or any of the rest of it. We are breaking away from all of those things. The misuse of sexuality, the misuse of technology, you name it, we're going to step away from it. We're going to do something different than we've ever done. We're going to get done before. We're going to give our perception about this reality away. We're going to find a total forgiveness in ourselves. And that's going to bring us great joy in everything we ever wanted. And it's the proper use of masculine desire. The proper use of masculine desire is to get away from the thrusting and trying to get something out of everything and to set up a compassionate enterprise. So I've been working with this idea in myself because this is the day that the amusement park came out and forecast everything that we're doing right now. So, that's my compassionate economic enterprise is all these cards and what we're doing. It's just what happened for me. And so this is a good friend of mine where everything's working out in his life. He's also a yogi like me, and we like to chant. So at the bottom there it says sing. So the proper use of masculine desire is to chant. And we got that card here with the chant. Chant to God. Our mantra on that card says Om Hrim Anahata Guru Om. Om Hrim Anahata Guru Om. Om Hrim Anahata Guru Om. If you want to know more about that, join our mystery school or let me know. And then the wisdom card that came out is give her what she wants. Give him what he wants. And I think in this one, because the 10 of coins, the ace of new earths combined with the this is an individual read, that we are all on this journey alone. And nobody's going to come and correct our mind for us. And so give yourself what you want. Your soul knows when you are investing in it. Your spiritual being knows when you are investing into the eternal, ever-present part of yourself. And you also know when you're not. So at this moment, the choice is, which way am I going to operate? Am I going to judge this life that's around me, argue with reality, or am I going to let go of all my thoughts about it? Ask for help from the highest levels of consciousness that I can to change the images in my mind. Change the images and just let them all go through there. And if one pops up and you can't get past it, then you chant to God and you forgive and you forgive and you remember that everybody's learning, and you say, no, I'm going to operate that everybody's innocent. Every single human being on the planet is innocent. I'm not going to give my mind one place to go with one person because I recognize my ego would only make everybody wrong or multiple people wrong, and I'd try to fight those and be unhappy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to circumnavigate this whole situation. I'm going to rise above it. And I'm going to get on the other side of it. And I'm going to say, only my ego could fool me that somebody could have done something wrong. And that person is me. And when I recognize I've been learning all this time and now I'm having an awakening and I can see that my learning is leading me to a higher level of consciousness, that I'm actually creating this entire thing, then there's no way to be upset with anybody else, because there is nobody else, because I'm simply a spark vibrating in a certain frequency, bringing to it other sparks vibrating at a certain frequency so that I can be in the school of love. And as soon as I learn to love every single spark in every single situation, no matter what, then I'm free, because then I have no more judgment and I can simply be me. Enjoy the full moon. God bless.